Welcome back to Grammar Grade 10. This is Unit 3, Lesson 22, and we're on to the second verbal, the gerund. Last lesson we met the participle, a verb form wearing an adjective's coat. Today's verb form wears a noun's coat instead. It ends in ing, it looks like an action, but it names a thing. Let's take it apart. Here's the whole idea in one line. A gerund is a verb form ending in ing that is used as a noun. That's it. It looks like a verb, but it does a noun's job. Look at this sentence. Swimming builds endurance. Swimming certainly looks like an action word, but ask what it's doing here. It's the subject, the thing the sentence is about. And here's a test we'll lean on all lesson. Try swapping in the word it. It builds endurance. That works perfectly, and only a noun can be traded for it. So any ing word doing a noun's job is a gerund. Most of the time, a gerund brings friends along. A gerund phrase includes the gerund plus any modifiers and complements it needs to complete its meaning. And the whole bundle, traveling together, does one noun's job. Watch. She enjoys painting bright landscapes. The gerund is painting, and it carries its own object, landscapes, plus the describing word bright. Those words travel as one package, and that package is the direct object of enjoys. Now the other direction. Quietly reading before dawn calms me. Everything in front of calms is a single gerund phrase, and it is the subject of the sentence. Test it. It calms me. One noun's worth of meaning, sitting in one noun's slot. Let's walk the noun jobs one at a time, because a gerund can fill any of them. Job 1, the subject. Swimming builds endurance. What builds endurance? Swimming does, and the gerund is sitting in the subject slot, right at the front of the sentence. Job 2, the direct object. She enjoys painting landscapes. She enjoys what? Painting landscapes. That gerund phrase is receiving the action of the verb, which is exactly what a direct object does. Notice that both of these slots are noun slots. A sentence never asks for a verb there. It asks for a naming word, and the gerund is happy to step in. 2 more noun jobs. Job 3, object of a preposition. He improved by practicing daily. The little word by is a preposition, and every preposition needs an object, a naming word to finish its phrase. Here, the object is the gerund phrase, practicing daily. Improved by what? By practicing daily. Job 4, predicate nominative. Her passion is teaching. After a linking verb like is, the word that follows renames the subject. Her passion equals teaching. So teaching is a predicate nominative, and once again, the gerund is doing pure noun work. There is one more noun job worth showing you, the appositive. An appositive is a noun placed right next to another noun in order to rename it, and a gerund phrase can do that too. Look, her hobby, collecting old maps, fills her weekends. The subject is hobby. Then, set off by commas, we get collecting old maps, a gerund phrase that renames the hobby and tells us exactly what it is. Notice it doesn't describe the hobby the way an adjective would. It stands in for it, equals it. That is the mark of an appositive. Same gerund phrase, another noun job. Now the part that trips people up. So let's be very clear. A gerund and a present participle both end in ing. They can even be the very same word. The difference is never the spelling, it is the job. Sentence 1. Smiling costs nothing. Smiling is the subject here. It is naming a thing, so it is doing a noun's job, and that makes it a gerund. Sentence 2. The smiling artist waved. This time, smiling tells us which artist, so it is describing a noun. That is an adjective's job, which makes it a participle, exactly like lesson 21. Sentence 3. She is smiling at us. Now smiling follows the helping verb is, and together the two of them form the verb phrase, the action of the sentence, the pattern we saw back in lesson 7. So here is your test, and it does not fail. Try replacing the ing word with the word it, or with any plain noun. If the sentence still stands, you have a gerund. Let's turn all of that into a quick routine you can run on any sentence. Step 1. Find the ing word. Step 2. Ask what job it is doing. Is it naming something, describing something, or working as the verb? Step 3. If it is naming something, it is a gerund, and you should scoop up its modifiers and complements too, because the whole gerund phrase is the noun. And if you are ever stuck, run the swap. Put the word it in place of the phrase. It calms me. If the sentence still works, you were looking at a gerund all along. Ready to practice? In this first set, I'll give you a sentence with a gerund or a gerund phrase, and you decide which noun job it is doing. Pause the video, choose your answer, and then listen for mine. Baking bread fills the house with warmth. Find the ing word. Baking. Now ask, what fills the house? Baking bread does. Run the swap. It fills the house with warmth, and the sentence still stands, so the gerund phrase is the subject. She avoids driving at night. The ing word is driving. She avoids what? Driving at night. That phrase is receiving the action of the verb avoids, and that is exactly what a direct object does, so it is the direct object. He apologized for arriving late. Look at that small word for. It is a preposition, and a preposition always needs something to finish it. Arriving late is what follows, so the gerund phrase is the object of a preposition. Now the tricky set. Every sentence has an ing word in it. Your job is to name what it really is, a gerund doing a noun's job, or something else entirely. Pause and decide before I reveal each answer. The barking dog woke the whole street. Ask the job question. What is barking doing? It is telling us which dog, so it is describing a noun. Describing is an adjective's work, so barking here is a participle, not a gerund. Barking wakes the whole street. Same word, brand new job. What wakes the street? Barking does. Try the swap. It wakes the whole street. The word is naming a thing and sitting in the subject slot, so this time barking is a gerund. The puppies were barking all night. Look at what sits right in front of barking, the helping verb were. Together, were barking is the verb of the sentence. Try the swap and it collapses. The puppies were it all night makes no sense. So barking is part of the verb phrase. Let's gather it up. A gerund is a verb form that ends in ing but is used as a noun. Swimming builds endurance. A gerund phrase is the gerund plus its modifiers and complements, and the whole phrase acts as a single noun, a subject, a direct object, the object of a preposition, a predicate nominative, or an appositive. And remember the distinction that matters most. The same ing word can be three different things. If it does a noun's job, it is a gerund. If it describes a noun, it is a participle. If it follows a helping verb, it is part of the verb phrase. When in doubt, swap in the word it. That's lesson 22. Next time, we'll meet the third verbal, the infinitive. I'll see you there.